What is economy anyway? In other words, who gets to decide that what you do for a living is only worth $8 an hour, and while what that one does for a living is worth $50 an hour, and while that one does for a living is worth $10,000 or $10 million an hour? Who gets to define that value anyway? It's not very well defined, is it? And yet, to listen to what you were saying there, it made it sound like that's all been stabilized, and it isn't. In other words, where did your economy come from? Just a few hundred years ago, on this continent, you were trading beads and shells and a little bit of minerals. That was your basis. Jerry talked about the gold standard. He remembers when the gold standard was $35 an ounce, the gold standard. And everything was supposed to be sort of measured against that gold standard. There are no standards like that remain consistently. Who gets to define value? You're going to come round to understanding that the only true value that you can ever reap the reward from or experience the benefit of is the value of alignment with this energy that creates worlds. What kind of monetary value do you put on that? Do you ever hear anyone say, well, I've been so well for so many years, and there are so many people out there who are sick, and I've been using up all the wellness value for so long that I've decided that I'm going to be sick for a while to allow more sick people to be well, because I've been getting more than my fair share of wellness. You never say that, because that value, you don't see it as a pile of something that can be divvied out. You accept that as a vibrational relationship in some way. You haven't really defined it. Humans say, well, that one's just unlucky in sickness and that one's just lucky in wellness. But it's not like that at all. There's a vibrational abundance that is being realized by some and denied by others, but they are all doing it to themselves, you see. There's not a big pile of resources that you're divvying up. Somebody didn't set the monetary fiscal standard for the universe, and there it all is out there, and now you have to steal it or trade it. That is so old news. This is a vibrational reality that you are moving into, and it is thought and alignment. Who do you think was paid for this earth that is now congealed and spinning in its orbit? Who was paid for that? Who scraped that value together, and who was paid for it, and who tends for it in its orbit? In other words, there are so many things that you can't begin to explain through a platform like the one that you just presented to us here. And that platform is not serving anyone at all, you see. The power of your mind is the only power that matters, and all the other stuff you do is just for the pleasure of enhancing what you've really done with your mind, and all the real power is the focus. And for you to call that nothing could not be further from accurate. Passive income is alignment with my vortex with such consistency that the abundance that I seek is bucking no resistance current at all. So it's flowing effortlessly into my experience. So let's stick the word effort in here, because Esther just noticed it on the Orlando Twice Monthly that she was editing yesterday, and she was so thrilled about it that she put it up on the blog, that effort is only ever applied outside the vortex. In other words, effort is always trying to push against something. Effort is only required when there is resistance. When there is no resistance, no effort is required. So let's put the word effort in here. So when you say passive income, meaning I want income that flows without constant renewed effort. And what we're telling you is you get in the vortex where you get to reap the benefit of the dreams that you've dreamed, and in your absence of resistance, it will flow to you, the ultimate of passive income. The ultimate of passive income. But instead of calling it passive income, let's call it passive energy, which will bring passive income. How do I line up with the flow? And the way you line up with the flow is through living life. You said, I want some for this, and I want some for this, and I want some for this. And when you ask, it is given. In other words, all cooperative components have already been assembled. So when you find a way of no longer being uncooperative, now this money flows to you in a passive, non-effort, ease and flow way. And apply it wherever you want it. It will flow. We were speaking just a little bit ago about how interesting it is to watch humans comparing their experiences. In other words, someone can write a song that flowed to them in a matter of a minute or so. In fact, the really good ones do come like that. And they can produce it and make so much money, where a person applying themselves at their endeavor only got a fraction of an hour's worth of work done. In other words, the comparison between the application of life in those two instances is unfathomable, the relationship difference. You see what we're getting at? It's not about the action that you offer. It's about the alignment with the dream. It's about the alignment with the real resource. We're talking about tapping into the energy that creates worlds and flowing it through your experience. And a really good place to start is to look around at the vast differences in the way people are living their lives. The people that are working the hardest in terms of action are receiving the least. And the people who are working the least are receiving the most. How do you reconcile that? Most don't. Most just say that sucks. Most just say there's injustice. Most just say, let's take the pie and split it up again. Let's take the pie and split it up again. Let's take the pie and split it up again. And it does not matter how many times you split that pie up. It will move into the vibrational places where law of attraction puts it. In other words, you just can't orchestrate it through action. It is a vibrational attraction or allowance that it is all about. People want it so that they will feel better. You say they want it so that they can satisfy this and this and this. What they want is alignment, and alignment brings money. And what you're saying is they want the money so that they can then observe alignment. And we say they want the alignment which will bring the money. They want the alignment. What they want is the alignment. What you want is to be in love. What you want is to take a walk and feel your heart soaring. What you want is for music to move through your body. What you want is to be alive and brilliant and have good timing. What you want is to be clever. What you want is to love. These are the things that you want. What you want is alignment. All the other stuff is irrelevant. And when you go for alignment first, then all the other trappings have to fill in around it. It is law. And what we're saying is you've already created it with all that you've been living, and it's waiting for you, offering a signal, and all you have to do is hone in on that signal. And you can tell when you're honing in because you're feeling better, and you can tell when you're getting closer because you're feeling lighter, and you can tell when you've really honed in because you believe, and you can tell when you consistently honed in because you just know life is good, and you just know you're stable, and you just expect it to be good. And now you're moving through life doing the action which is delicious, doing the action that supports your knowledge of well-being.